today. I got a little, it's like a cold, but it feels like a flu. I keep swallowing and then it's a little nasal. It seems worse than just a cold, but okay, I just went walking, so that should help. And then I'll swim and hopefully that'll help. Anyway, so yesterday we hit the Denver-Cincy game. Finally, a game that went up the way it should have, unlike the Green Bay game and the San Diego game. So I had Denver pretty big. I didn't play Miami and the Jets. Gold, 38.39. Really strange. So Cadillac thinks that this is the gold price, and it's the paper gold price. He doesn't quite get it. The brokers don't understand it. They're putting options in, which lowers the price. It's not the market. It's not. The physical gold market is done not by this shit, but by real stuff. Silver 46.35. So if this is the real market, COMEX, why the hell did it go from 38.65 to 30? Let's call it 38. Why would it go down and then come back up to 38.39? Well, what's the real price? In any event, it's not the real price. It's the paper price, which it's not real. The real price is probably times 10, so about 38,000. And that's the argument with the brokers. They don't know what they're doing. And, Cadillac, I don't think you get it. It's the paper price that you're dealing with is not the physical price. And that's the contradiction there. This price is total bullshit. So what's the real price of gold? 38.38. Then why did it go to 3,800? And now why was it 38.70? Why is it now back to 38.40? This is a bullshit price. This has nothing to do with reality. This is a paper price, heavily watered down with paper. This is not a gold price at all. You can't look at it and say, that's the price of gold. No, you're not. It's not even close. Same thing, silver, this isn't close either. 46.29. We are seeing it. It did hit 47 yesterday. So we'll take a look at it. I was watching a thing on Vegas this morning, and the CEO of MGM was on. He should be thrown in jail just for incompetence. So I keep hearing record profits and nobody there. How the fuck do you have record profits and nobody there? And then what comes out is, it's in Macau and the Middle East. So they're gouging Macau and the Middle East. And if you don't think they're not price sensitive, you're out of your mind. Oh, the real rich, bullshit. They're not going to pay $50 for a hamburger, just like we're not going to pay $50. Everybody's the same. The market is the market. Let me get my feet up. So is this guy who runs the MGM this stupid? Well, we don't care about Vegas. We'll make our money in Macau and the Middle East. I guess Dubai. I don't know where. Well, let's check. Where's MGM in the Middle East? Let's look at MGM locations. MGM located in Las Vegas, Detroit, Biloxi, Springfield, Mass, and National Harbor, Maryland in the United States, as well as Macau and Sanya in China. So I don't know. They don't have anything in the Middle East. in the United States, internationally. Yeah, they're only in China. I'm not sure Sanya is a big player, and Macau. So I don't know what they're talking about, Middle East. So it's mostly in Vegas, which they have nobody there. So in the video, they're jacking the prices up in Macau, and that's how they're having record earnings, even though there's nobody in 20 locations in Detroit, Biloxi, and Las Vegas, because they're jacking up the prices so nobody's going there. So they're making all this money with Macau, and they think Macau people in China are willing to pay $50 for a hamburger and resort fees and parking. Bullshit. First of all, China is more broke than we are. All the rich people left China for Dubai because China's melting down. So I don't know what these people are talking about. I don't know where they're getting record profits from. From whom? But China's not in any better shape. So they're broke. There's nobody in Vegas. So how do you have record earnings and nobody there? Something's going. Then he wanted the government to pay for financing for certain things. Don't know what that is. So, I love to talk to this guy. But he's too scared to talk to somebody like me. I'll tell him to fuck off. Most of these people kiss their ass. I don't. So it's a bad formula, raising your prices over market. So the market's here and your prices are here. You have nobody, you're willing to spend, let's say, $500 for a couple of days in Vegas at one of the MGM resorts, which I wouldn't stay at. Their odds on the football is terrible. 13-10. Everybody else is 11-10. And they're expensive. Hey, Titus. I got your email. I haven't looked at it yet. I was busy yesterday, and I don't do the pros till today anyway, which I'll do after class. College, I'm trying to figure out. So the formula doesn't work. We'll raise prices, and how do we have record earnings when there's nobody there to pay them? It's such bullshit. I mean, I don't really understand how they can. I want to see their financials to see where they're getting their money. Yeah, Titus, no problem. We got time today. I don't feel good. It's sort of like a flu, or like I need an antibiotic or something. One of those. What do you call it? You just don't feel well. And I felt better. It seems to be worse when I'm sleeping because I'm laying down. Like now I'm up, and then in the pool or walking, it feels okay, but I am a little tired. But anyway, so how are you making record profits? No, okay, fine. Let's go into this. I'll show you how to analyze a financial statement. How about that? Let's see what this says. Financial info earnings. So explain to me record earnings when you have nobody going to your property. Earnings release presentation 10 to. Let's see, earnings release. I really want to see a P&L. All right, so net income attributed to MGM Resorts was $49 million in the current quarter compared to $187 million in the prior year quarter. Record earnings, huh? And their earnings fell $140 million. A decrease due to the current quarter pre-tax impact of foreign currency transactions and the fact they had less people. Consolidated adjustment EBITDA of $648 million in the current quarter compared to $635. All right, where are we going? Las Vegas Strip revenues of $2.1 billion in the current quarter compared to $2.2 billion in the prior quarter, due primarily to the impact from the room remodel and a decline in table games hold at MGM Grand Las Vegas. And segment adjusted of $710 million in the quarter compared to $782. So where are these record earnings? They're losing money. Regional operations, net revenues of $965 million in the current quarter compared to $927. The prior quarter, let's see, MGM China net revenues of $1.1 billion in the current quarter compared to $1 billion in the prior year quarter, increase of 9% due primarily to an increase in casino revenue driven by the increase in main floor table games drop compared to the prior year quarter. It's a bunch of bullshit. MGM Digital net revenues of $164 million in the current quarter compared to one. Oh, so they're making their money on the digit on the little game on the phone on the apps. So they're making money on the apps, so they don't think they need to do anything in the casino. Casino revenue in the Las Vegas Strip, $457. It was $485. Table games dropped 1506 to 1554. I don't know where they're getting these numbers. Table games win. Slots. Made money on slots. Yeah, this is all bullshit. There's nobody there. Room revenue, 735 versus 767. It's down. Occupancy, 93%, down from 97%. And we don't believe 93%. Average daily rate, 252 to 248. What the fuck is that? I don't even know what that means. Revenue per available room, 235 versus 2. What the fuck is that? Revenue per room. What are these idiots? MGM China, casino revenue was up, so they're making it in China. Main floor table games were up. Main floor table games win. I don't know how you come up with that. Main floor table games win 25% versus 24%. So if you expect me to believe that they're making more money in Vegas with nobody there, I'm going to say I don't believe you. And then it's just notes. All right, let's see this P&L. Hey, David. Let's see. So 3 months ended June, 6 months ended. Let's go 6 months ended. In the casino revenues, it's up a little for the 6 months ended. The rooms are down because nobody's staying there. The food and beverage is down. Entertainment, what entertainment? It's down. Expenses in the casino is down. No, it's up. The rooms are even. Food and beverage is down. Entertainment, retail, and other is down. G&A is down. Corporate expense is up a little bit. Yeah, the expense is higher. Property transactions, I don't know what that is. Depreciation is way up. Income is 12, billion. They lost 59 billion last year. Operating income 789 versus 884. So don't tell me they made record earnings when they're losing money. Bullshit. But I just wanted to look at it because I thought it was ridiculous. Trying to say we have record profits when there's nobody going to the casinos because they're too fucking expensive. I really don't believe any of their numbers because, first of all, there's no Middle East. So they're saying, oh, it's from the Middle East. There's no casino in the Middle East. There's nothing in Dubai. It's all China. And China's going broke. Other rich guys went to Dubai. You have less people going. So I don't know. I don't understand any of this. Where are they getting their money from? Anyway. Who do I got in the baseball playoffs? Oh, when are they? I do football right now. I have no time for baseball. I barely have time for football. All right, let's look at football. I filled in the lines. I'm filling in the Z teams and the A teams, but I haven't finished. Let's see. Thursday, Sam Houston and New Mexico State. Sam Houston, the Z team, but they're a 3-point favorite at New Mexico State. Makes you want to take New Mexico State. Sam Houston with the 43 defense, New Mexico State with the 26. Neither team has an offense. These are the games I should bet and I don't. And, I'm trying to figure out why I locked Kansas, let's say. What is it about Kansas? Oh, because they beat Fresno State and they killed West Virginia. And so we're getting the expected outcome based on the other games. But even the fact I had it at Kansas to lose to Cincinnati. And the problem with Cincinnati, only played one team, Nebraska. They lost. They hadn't played anybody else. I just walked, so I am hungry. Didn't play anybody else. So, now we have a little better understanding of Cincinnati. And that's really the problem right now is nothing is consistent, right? Everything's very inconsistent. So I would have played that same Kansas bet 10 times in a row. At home, laying 4, I get 2. I really can't believe they lost to Cincinnati. I could believe if they lost to a good, Baylor or somebody or TCU, Iowa State, but Cincinnati. And the question is, so then you take Cincinnati this week and they lose and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And that's what's happening. And I'm really pissed and I really have to figure. Iowa State goes to Cincinnati and Cincinnati's a 1.5 point favorite. And I'm sitting there, okay, they beat Kansas. Are they going to beat Iowa State? And no fucking way. I mean, it's not going to happen. Iowa State's a much better team. So that's where we're at, trying to figure out. Normally, you'd get consistency, right? The Bears beat Dallas by 30 points. Dallas at home to Green Bay. Green Bay should win it 10 times out of 10. Shouldn't be close. Green Bay needs to fire their head coach and their defensive coordinator. They didn't blitz Dak Prescott at all, nor they didn't double team. I was watching the highlights yesterday. Where's the double team on whatchamacallit, on the receiver? I can't think of his name. He caught 2 touchdowns, Pinkins. You didn't double team him at all. One, he was wide open. What are you doing? And you're not blitzing Prescott. So you sit there and you shake your head going, okay, I watched Green Bay beat Detroit. Where's that team? Where did that team go? And then they beat Washington. And all of a sudden they lose to Cleveland, and then they lose to Dallas, who sucks. Are they fixed? Probably. But they actually lost, or actually it was a tie, 40-40. What a pathetic performance by Green Bay, letting Dallas put 40 up on them. But yet, against the Bears, who had 3 of their cornerbacks out, they lost like 31-10. Something like that, 27-10. I don't know. We had 7.5 in Dallas, and they got blown out by the Bears, who stink. But yet they played the Giants 40-37, and they played Green Bay 40-40. Well, what happened to their points? I mean, I'm like really getting pissed off trying to figure this shit out, because this is just incredibly bad coaching, terrible defensive coordinators. You're not blitzing Dak Prescott is the crime. Letting him sit back there, and then you're not double teaming George Pickens. Well, who the hell are they going to throw to? CeeDee Lamb's out. There's no way you lose this game, especially after the way you lost to Cleveland, and you had another extra point block. They ran back for 2 points, which we win. If they don't do that and we just go up 14-0, it ends up we win 40-38, or it doesn't even go to overtime. It's just, I think the league's so bad right now. The coaching is terrible right now that it's just hard to, it's just, this is why we stick with Mahomes. And we had Denver yesterday, who I was shocked, won 28-3. I had Denver -1. Again, off of a loss at home against Cincinnati without Joe Burrow. Pretty easy bet, just like Tennessee, Houston. So I've got to stick more to those. But I did stick pretty much. I was like 8-2 this week in the pros, and the only 2 losses were San Diego. Okay, we can say time change. They beat Denver. They beat Kansas City. And here they go to the Giants and lose with 16 penalties, 2 picks by Herbert. Well, what the fuck was that? What kind of game plan did you have there? You're letting Jackson Dart run. He's terrible. You're letting him run. No. You blitz him every time. You just go after him. You blitz 5, and he's not going to read it. That's how stupid these defensive coordinators are. And then we lose with the Green Bay -1, and they play a tie. Who plays the tie now? 40-40. They couldn't get down for a touchdown in the overtime. Stupidest overtime rules I've ever seen. Oh, well, it's got to be fair. You've got to have a chance too. So Green Bay, Dallas goes up 3. Green Bay ties it. Dallas goes up 3. Green Bay. What the fuck kind of overtime is that? What is the point of the overtime if you don't want a winner? Well, we got to be fair. No, you don't have to be fair. They played 4 quarters. That was fair. Anyway, we're getting more into, tell me about Jacksonville and Indy. I think we understand Houston and Tennessee. I think we can label Houston as an under. Let's go through the teams. Then we'll get into college because I'm kind of pissed right now. So if we look at the teams, now again, it's total disarray because we got Minnesota playing in Ireland and now playing in London. What kind of crap is that? So Seattle and Arizona, what do we have here? Sam Darnold. I got Seattle as an 8 team, but I got Arizona as an under. It was a 23-20, a 43 was an under. The total was 43, but you could have went under 49. Is Seattle an 8 team? I don't know. Arizona, I don't know what they are. Minnesota, Pitt, many definitely an under team with Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy. I love how they say, well, he'll sit and watch. What did he do last year? He sat and watched, and he didn't learn shit. Now he's supposed to sit and watch so he can learn shit this year. He obviously sucks. He obviously can't read crap. And I think you're going to go with Carson Wentz until he gets hurt. Pittsburgh, they got their defensive players back, and they got Aaron Rodgers now in the mold. He wants to go out with a champion. So he looked good. They were up 21, 24, 14 or whatever. Minnie is not a good favorite. Pittsburgh's better than you think because of Aaron Rodgers. He looks like Aaron Rodgers. Philadelphia, Tampa. Philly is an A team. Tampa's pretty good too. Tampa's a live dog. Philly's Philly. They just have the complete team. They got the good running back in Barkley, good offensive line, the good defense. And even with Jalen Hurts, who's not really that good, but, they'll keep saying he's good. All he can do is do the stupid push-tush. It's a joke because when he gets hurt, then what are you going to do? He's going to break his leg, and then you can say, well, I guess we won't do that anymore. How he doesn't injure himself is beyond me. This horrible game from the Chargers. Well, and that's the point. How can I get away from that game, right? Oh, they're going to the West Coast, from the West Coast to the East Coast. Okay, that would be a way I could go lighter on it. What are you going to do? It's Jackson Dart's first start. How can you possibly think he's going to win? And that's why I question Jim Harbaugh having a brain in his head. This is where I get the coaches that are terrible. How do you lose to Jackson Dart in his first start? You can't. He's terrible. Oh, he ran well. Well, big surprise, but San Diego knows how to play Lamar. What are you doing here? But this is what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with 52 cards in the deck. So Tampa, Philly, they're very good teams. I think we can trust them as dogs, and we can trust them. What we're missing here, which we're going to get, Tampa bets Carolina, Tampa gets New Orleans. We're missing those games right now. It's Philly and Tampa, KC and Baltimore, KC and Philly. So they're extremely difficult bets when you got the good teams playing each other and the bad teams playing, the Jets in Miami yesterday. What do you do with that game? You can't bet it. What we're missing is Buffalo against Miami and Buffalo against the Jets and the good teams playing the bad teams. That's where we thrive, right? Detroit over Cleveland, Houston, Tennessee. That's the games we clean up on. We're not getting them. We're getting a few of them, but we're not getting them. So that's where I'm pushing something. Now, I had a good week, good Sunday. I had a terrible Saturday. And again, Cincinnati played one game, right? This is game 4, and they played one team, Nebraska. And I can't believe Kansas lost, right? Houston and Oak State or Oregon State. What are you kidding me? Oregon State's a Z team. They get killed by Oregon by 50 points. All of a sudden, Houston throws an interception. It's like the play calling's terrible. They throw an interception, and they're an under team. Just run it and punt it, and then let your defense go at them. That's where your strength is. They're not playing to their strength. None of them know the art of war. It's ridiculous. All right, New Orleans, we know they're terrible. And Buffalo, we know they try once in a while. They win 31-19. They win by 12, Lane 15. So they don't cover, which you knew that was going to happen. But they did cover in the teaser. Buffalo is the A team, although they got injuries to Milano and Ed Oliver, so they're not as strong on defense. Milano's always injured. And New Orleans, Rattler's terrible. Kellen Moore's in over his head. He's the coach. Olave and Kamara are good, but that's about it. So give them credit for getting 19 points on Buffalo, I think, but Buffalo's not the greatest defense. Carolina, New England. Carolina's an under team, 277 yards a game, and they looked like it. They got 13 points. But how can you take New England? They stink too. And New England's an under team, but scored 42 here. I got to watch that game. I assume there's pick sixes and punt returns, not actual Drake May doing anything. 23 defense. So New England's very inconsistent. Drake May's terrible. He wants to run. They all want to run these. Jackson Dart, I'm going to run. I'm not going to throw. I'm a quarterback, but I'm not going to throw. I mean, it's insanity. So you couldn't guess New England would even win the game. I almost took Carolina, but I can't bet on Carolina with Steve Young. Washington, Atlanta, that was a toughie because it was Mariota, not Daniels, and McLaurin was out. So Penix looked good, as he should. And so Atlanta's getting better. Can we trust him yet? Washington did cover as the dog. So they're, even with Mariota, they were pretty good. So Washington's a team, but we like with Daniels. Hopefully he's back this week. Cleveland, Detroit, it's about what we thought. Cleveland, great defense. They're an under team. Detroit's an A team, good offense, good defense. 34-10, but they needed a punt return. So they don't look as sharp against a good defense like Cleveland. They can't run the ball, and therefore they didn't do much. But they did enough, and the spread was, like I said, I got it at 7.5, and then it went to 9.5, 10. I bet a little at 9.5 with Denver because I got killed with my Detroit Washington college teaser. Excuse me. Tennessee, Houston, that's what we want. Tennessee 0-3 has to win. That's where you want the back against. You knew Houston was not going to throw this game like San Diego did. San Diego threw the game. Here, you know Houston has to win it. They're not going to throw it. That's what we wanted against a weak Tennessee, and Cam Ward sucks. And that's about what I thought. I think I mentioned like 31-0 or 28-0, and it was 26-0. I knew Houston would shut them out, and it was either Houston under or Houston, and I go, Houston's got to win, so I took Houston there. That's why it was a lock, because it was a must-win and the better team and the better defense. San Diego and the Giants. Again, this is the game that you scratch your head on. Not only that, but San Diego is 18-3 in the teaser. 11-1 is the road favorite. So it's not like they don't go on the road well. The Giants had nothing. So, again, San Diego, an A team, plays a W team, the Giants, without Russell Wilson. What the fuck? You can't predict that in 1,000 years. I mean, what are you supposed to do with it? So, again, I think they had played Denver the week before in a big emotional game, and then they go to the East Coast. And I think that's how you get out of it. You almost have to go back to the prior week and see, oh, yeah, they played a big game. They'll be flat here. I think that's the only way. It's like college when you play Michigan, Ohio State, the next week they're going to be flat. Jacksonville and the Niners. Jacksonville wins. Is Jacksonville any good? Well, I think the Niners are pretty bad. Purdy fumbles at the end. Jacksonville wins 26-21. They didn't look bad. Do we trust them? Do we trust Jacksonville to win or as a dog? I don't trust Trevor Lawrence as far as I could throw him. The Niners are not the Niners. They're kind of week. They were 3-1, but who did they beat? I don't think they beat anybody. So again, 26-21 at home, losing to Jacksonville, who had to fly to the West Coast. So Jacksonville will keep an eye on. Maybe they're not that bad, even though Trevor Lawrence still sucks. So it didn't get any better. But I don't wonder how the Niners are. And we got the Niners going to the Rams on Thursday night. And right now, I really like the Rams because, A, they're at home. The Niners have to travel. And I think the Rams are the better team. And they're a very good home team, the Rams. And I'm looking at the Niners, and I don't have any faith in them. They need Joe Montana back. Indy at LA. Indy, okay, they're playing okay. LA, very good at home. Stafford's going to win you the game. That's the difference. Daniel Jones is not going to win you the game. Clear, he didn't. Neither is Trevor Lawrence. So it's a tough one. So if you get Jacksonville at home to Indy, you're not betting Jacksonville. You're not betting on Trevor Lawrence to win the game because he's not that good. And the same thing if Indy goes to if Jacksonville goes to Indy. You can't bet on Daniel Jones to win the game. So you're really in a flux here of who are these teams. The Rams, very good at home. Now, they should beat the Niners Thursday night. But if they don't, what are you supposed to do? I mean, the play is the Rams, but is it going according to Hoyle, which means what should happen? And it's not. The Bears in Oakland. Both teams were a 1-point favorite. The Bears win by 1 point, 25-24. You had Geno Smith throwing 3 picks. We cannot bet on Geno Smith. And we certainly can't bet on Caleb. And that's what it's all about. It's who do you trust? That's why we never bet on Lamar, because we can't trust him to win. Look at him in the last 2 games. Detroit and KC looked like shit, looked terrible. Again, he kind of tweaked his hamstring, but I'm sure he'll play this week. I don't know who they play right now. I haven't done my week 5. I can't believe we're in week 5 already. I haven't done my week 5 stuff. It takes a minute to pull in the stats, put in the teams and re-rank them, and then see how they are in teaser trends. The teaser trends are very good, except for San Diego. Detroit was good. Houston was great. Houston was 19-3 in the teaser, and Tennessee play against was 18-2. It was a beaut. The Rams were 19-3, play against Indy's 18-2, but you can't because they got new quarterback. And LA 16-3 at home. So yes, teaser trend worked there. Chicago, Oakland, there was no trend. And again, you can't bet on Caleb. He stinks. And Oakland, Crosby sacked him a lot. And then, but Oakland doesn't have any. Geno Smith, I thought that was a terrible move. I don't know I never understood how he got drafted and how he even played. I watched him in college. He sucked. So again, as another example, the guy who sucks in college is not going to be good in the pros. Baltimore, KC, one of our easier games. KC is a home dog with Mahomes every week. That's twice we had it. They covered with Philly, and they not only covered but killed Baltimore. And now we got it's a horse of a different color, Baltimore. What do we do with them? Now, they lost to Detroit. They lost to KC. They lost to Buffalo. 3 good teams. They beat Cleveland. Who do they got this week? Let's see. So we'll go through the games in a minute. Baltimore is at home to Houston. They're 3.5, 43.5. Houston with the killer defense and no quarterback. Baltimore's got several injuries to their defense, and then you're screwed with Lamar against this defense. He ain't going to do shit. Houston is a good under team. Baltimore, we don't know what they are. Baltimore is not going to kill Houston. However, C.J. Stroud just Let him run the ball. Don't let him throw. He'll throw interceptions. We can't trust C.J. Stroud as a dog. Baltimore off of 2 losses should be the play, but we can't bet on Lamar and we got all these injuries. So maybe it's an under game. Again, it's a stalemate. It's a game we can't really bet big on or lock or even try to pick it. The only way I could bet this game is under. I can't take Houston 9.5. I certainly can't take Baltimore. Baltimore's liable to lose this game. This is the best defense in the league. They're not going to score a lot. Lamar's going to be nothing. He'll turn it over a few times. Henry's not going to do much against this defense. And then it's C.J. Stroud. How many turnovers is he going to have? So we gotta keep that in mind. So this is the problem with Baltimore. Okay, 2 losses in a row, and I'm not jumping to bet them against Houston. Green Bay, Dallas, 40-40. What is going on with Green Bay? I had them as an 8 team. Not anymore. Now, Dallas does put up 400 yards, but they don't have CeeDee Lamb. So you have to assume they're not. You have to assume watching the Green Bay game that when they played the Bears, what the fuck was that? What was it, 20-10? What was the Bear game? Green Bay, Cleveland. The Bears. Oh, no, it's Dallas. Yeah, 31-14. They lose to the fucking Bears. They get 14 points on the Bears. Oakland gets 26 on them yesterday. So what team is it? Oh, now they got 40 on Green Bay. Micah Parsons did nothing in the game. They had 1 sack on Dak. So you're not blitzing him. The defensive coordinator is still working there. Why isn't he fired? What kind of game plan is that? Dak Prescott's not good. If you pressure him, it's two interceptions, and you don't pressure him. You let him sit back there all day, and they get 40 points on you. I'm looking for a new defensive coordinator because this guy obviously is clueless, right? Green Bay gave 40 points. What do you do with it? Green Bay's 15 defense is bullshit. Love against Dak. Love's bullshit. Green Bay's not an 8 team anymore. I don't know if they're an over team. And Dallas is definitely an over team, except for against the Bears. They didn't show up against the Bears. What is going on here? How can Dallas not show up against the Bears and show up against Green Bay? What are you kidding me? The better teams they should lose to. So you just scratch your head on that 40-40 and you have no idea. How do I bet Green Bay again? And Dallas, I guess I can only bet over, except for against the Bears. All right, the Jets 21, Miami 27. The Z team Miami at home beat the JETSs. Fields runs. He had a nice 30-yard run at the end to make it 27-21. Again, Fields can't pass. He just wants to run, but he does score you points. Tagovailoa's, pathetic. So you got 2 bad quarterbacks here, but Fields is just going to run. That's all he does. He gets you points because he does somehow score running the ball. In our last game, Denver, Cincinnati. Denver 28-3. We actually finally won a game that we should have won that actually went the way it's supposed to, since he's the Z team without Joe Burrow. All right, so we made that adjustment. Denver, an under team. 28-3 was an under game, but since Denver had only won 1 game, they had to win it, and they weren't going to lose at home without Joe Burrow playing. Joe Burrow plays. I got Cincinnati in 13, and we cash. This was easy at 28-3. Denver's a very good team. They just happened to play the San Diego, and I think they lost another good game. So Denver, I think we trust. Bo Nix hopefully got, starting to play better. Denver's trends was 19-2 in a teaser, right? 12-2 is a home favorite, and play against Cincy was 17-3. Now that's not with Browning, but if you're that with Burrow, they're not good. So this is why I put my plays. So Tampa worked, LA in a teaser won, Washington in a teaser won, Buffalo in a teaser won, Houston in a teaser won, Denver in a teaser won. The only losers, San Diego. Play against the Jets, you win. Play against Indy, you win. Play against Jacksonville, you lose. Play against Tennessee, you win. Play against Cincy, you win. Play against Dallas, we lose. Play against the Giants, we lose. So if I just stick with the 85% and above in a teaser and against, I go 3-5. I go 6-1. Which is about what I did. I think I went 7-2. And play against in a teaser is 4-3. The Giants and Dallas, which I bet both of those were the two losers. So the teaser trends actually work very good in the pros. The problem is like Cam Ward, what do we do with him? Caleb, we now have over a year, so we can start using teaser trends. Although we don't really have any. Nothing meaningful. KC and Baltimore and Buffalo, we can use. Green Bay, we can use. Dallas is hard because we got a new coach. And Denver, we can use. And Philly, we can use. And Tampa, we can use. So there's a lot we can use. And I'm just going back last year and this year. I have one other going back one more year, but then I got to really be careful because, I don't have Penix and I don't have Daniels 2 years ago. I just have them last year. So most of it's 24, 25. But it gives us a help. All right. So enough of that. College. Let's just go with the big games. All right. So I gave you Thursday, Sam Houston, New Mexico State. I'd say New Mexico State's a live dog here. Sam Houston's a Z team being favored on the road with the 43 defense. They suck. New Mexico State's not better, but just being at home on a Thursday has got to help them. But again, do you really want to trust New Mexico State and make this bet? Good luck to you. Now Friday we got Western Kentucky and Delaware. They're both over teams. The total on the game's 61. So it would think you'd get a high scoring game. Western Kentucky, they score. Delaware scores. They got a 22 defense. Western Kentucky 26. Now Western Kentucky's a live dog, getting 9. Delaware thinks they're Michigan, and they're pretty strong offensively. Also, they both get about 425 yards a game. And you would think this would be an over game, or Western Kentucky's a live dog. Again, here's my fear. It's a Friday night. And I hate chasing these weird days because they're used to playing Saturday. You're asking them to play and travel on Friday, on Thursday. Charlotte, South Florida. South Florida had a couple of big upsets, and Charlotte's a Z team. South Florida 27-54. They should pound Charlotte here. New Mexico, San Jose State. New Mexico is a pretty good team. I like their coach. San Jose State's 2.5, 58.5. I like New Mexico as a dog here, getting 8.5. I think they're very well coached. They're very good. They played Michigan. They lost 34-17, but they were in it. San Jose State's done nothing. But again, can you really bet on New Mexico? This is the point. Can we bet with confidence on New Mexico? Can we bet against San Jose State? And that's really what the questions are. How much can we play either team? How much can we trust them? Colorado State, San Diego State. San Diego State 6-39.5. I haven't filled in the type of teams they are. Colorado State's pretty bad. San Diego State's pretty bad. 39.5. That's a low number. In our last game. So can you believe there's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games on Friday night? What are you kidding me? And we've got West Virginia at BYU. BYU 18.5. This was 20. And 47.5. So 48. West Virginia with the 27 defense. BYU with the 9. They've got a killer defense, and they showed it against Colorado, 24-21. It was 14-0 right away, and I'm going, oh, I'm going to lose this one too. But when I woke up, it was a 45, and we're under 55. So the under held in. So BYU, we know, is an under team. They got a freshman quarterback. They're not going to, score a lot, but their defense is very good. So here, West Virginia's been shit on the road. The only game they won was Pitt, and then they lost, got killed by Kansas, got killed by Utah last week, and here they get BYU, who's got a very strong defense. I mean, you can guess BYU or West Virginia's just a guess, right? Oh, West Virginia, I'll take 24. No thanks. BYU, I'll take 12. But under, I probably would go because when you have such a strong, it's like Houston in the pros, you just bet it under because their defense is so dominant that you hope their offense just gets out of its way and doesn't turn the ball over. All right, Air Force goes to Navy. Now we're at Saturday. Air Force goes to Navy. One of these, Army, Navy, Air Force games. How come the Marines doesn't have a team? I'm a little upset about that. I think the Marines should also have a team. The Coast Guard. Like, what's going on? Navy 11-49. Air Force has no defense this year. Lost to Hawaii last week. What the hell is that? Navy's good. They're running it down their throat. Probably a good Navy position. Iowa State goes to Cincinnati. And here the game's even, and you get Cincinnati as the favorite. They're 1.5, 54.5. You got to love Iowa State getting points. They're a very live dog. They got a great coach. They got a great quarterback, a good defense. Cincinnati, I don't know who they are. I don't know how they beat Kansas. Kansas had a good defense, and then it disappeared. Jalen Daniels, the Kansas quarterback, threw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns. He wasn't the problem. So where's Kansas's defense? We got to go look for it. Or they're back to being an over team, which is what I think they are. K-State plays Baylor. Baylor, we know, is an over team with the best quarterback in Robertson. He came through for us last week. Hey, a free pick and a lock that won, Baylor. Baylor minus 661 against Kansas State. The question is, how strong is Kansas State's offense? Baylor's defense is not that great. Can Baylor win it, or do we go over with the game? That's where you've narrowed it down. A very strong offense in Baylor, but is their defense, in other words, are they going to be able to contain Kansas State? If they can't, then we got to go over with the game, which we might have to. Kentucky, Georgia 20-48. Off of a loss to Alabama, which if the coach didn't have his head up his ass, 4th and 1 at the 10, 8 minutes left in the game, you're down 3, you kick the field goal. 100% of the time, you tie the game up, and then you got 8 minutes left to try to win it. You don't go for it, because if you don't make it, Alabama has the momentum, has the ball. It doesn't matter at the 10, and then Alabama ran a few first downs, And then Georgia after that punted, and that was it. And Alabama won because Georgia's coach has his head up his ass because, oh, we got to go on fourth down, don't we? We just have to. And even if we don't make it, we lose the game. Well, that sounds like a good this sounds like a good option. We'll go for it. And if we miss it, we lose the game. Yeah, let's do that. Why don't you kick the field goal, you idiot? So now we get Georgia off of a loss at home to Kentucky. And how much are they going to beat them by? There's no doubt Georgia's going to win. And it's just how much. Kentucky played Ole Miss 30-23 at Kentucky, but going to Georgia after a loss, this is the game that you focus on. The team off of a loss, you know they're going to play strong, and you just got to go with it. And so we have to figure, do we want to lay 14 points? We don't want to, well, it's probably an under game because Kentucky's got a really good defense. So Georgia probably will have trouble covering the 20 here. Illinois, 9-56 to Purdue. Illinois gets killed by Indiana. They're all upset. They're at home. They get the 9 a.m. game with USC, and they beat them on a last-second field goal, 34-32. Purdue, pretty good quarterback, pretty good offense, not a great defense. Illinois, a good team, except for the Indiana game. But when I was watching the Illinois-USC game for a few minutes, they said 4 safeties and 3 cornerbacks were hurt in the Indiana game and out. So 7 of their first and second team secondary was all out of the game. Now, I assume they came back for USC, but now you got them at Purdue. So now you have Illinois at Purdue. Purdue, not bad. Played USC, okay. Played Notre Dame, okay. They're not great, but they got a good quarterback. They're decent. They got the UNLV coach. They don't really have the defense. Can Illinois get up for this game after beating SC? And it was an emotional game. Now here's where you have to watch out for. Do we stick with Illinois after the emotional roller coaster they've been on? Or do we say, I ain't touching this because they just beat USC after getting killed by Indiana? So it's an emotional week for them, and now they got to go to Purdue and try to get up for it. This is where your upset happens, right? They're not going to be emotionally ready for it. Pitt, 6.5, 58 to BC. BC's got a good quarterback. They got a big offense. Pitt, I don't know what they are. You just got to watch the West Virginia. They lost to West Virginia, and I don't know what else they've done. Let's take a look. Pitt and BC. So Pitt, let's see. They beat Duquesne. Why did they play these games? They beat Central Michigan, lost to West Virginia, and then lost to Louisville. So their defense is a 34, a 31, not very good. So it's a 30 defense, and offensively they're so they can score. BC beats Fordham, again, fucking up my stats. Lost at Michigan State 42-40, lost to Stanford 30-20 traveling, and has lost to California at home 28-24. So they're 0-3. Ignore the Fordham game, which shouldn't count. It's Division II. So they've given up 42, 30, and 28. So they've given up about 33 a game. And they've scored about 30. So this should be a high-scoring game here. Both these teams, their defense are not very good. Clemson, North Carolina, what do you do with this game? Clemson 14-45. My God. Clemson is terrible, right? they're 1-3, but the loss to Syracuse, I can understand the loss to Georgia Tech, Haynes King. I can't understand the loss to Syracuse. What happened to Cade Klubnik? Did the offensive coordinator go and Cade Klubnik should have went with him? I mean, he's terrible. North Carolina, they're terrible. The Bill Belichick's. It's terrible. I don't really get it. He's good, decent defense, no offense. Clemson, if they're going to win a game, it'll be this one. And we'll see. Army 7 to UAB. Army's not very good this year. Their quarterback stinks. UAB's an over team, but doesn't play well. I have no idea. Wisconsin, Michigan, 16-43. Michigan's quarterback stinks. It's basically they run the ball down your throat. It's the same offense they've had for the last few years. We're just going to run it down your throat. And we break some 60, 70-yard runs and a 50-yard run like against Nebraska. How did we lose that under? I mean, it's just mind-blowing. Nebraska with a really good defense, not that game. Wisconsin, a very weak team. Total of 43. Do we want to go under? Wisconsin's probably not going to score in the game. Michigan's going to run it and run it and run it. And, get a little bit. It's a 43, so you go under 49. Probably the best. I mean, do you take Michigan -10? Maybe. Wisconsin's not going to do much. They're pretty weak. UTSA Temple. UTSA, we love. Good quarterback, 6.5, 56. Temple's got a good quarterback too. They've brought in a new coach from Sam Houston who's pretty good. They've been playing pretty well. They've been scoring. UTSA is very explosive. So it's funny. UTSA and Utah State played A&M. They both scored 22 points. And last week against Auburn, they get nothing. They get 10 points. I mean, what the fuck was that all about? So, again, very confused. All right. I'm not trying to bet against UTSA with Temple, but I think it's probably a high-scoring game. Wake Forest, Virginia Tech. Virginia sucks. Wake Forest showed something against Georgia Tech last week. I would say they're a live dog, getting 6.5 up to 12.5. Western Michigan and UMass. I mean, this is just begging for you to take Western Michigan. UMass, the worst team in college football. Somehow Missouri only beat them 42-6. We were laying 38. That's just the way the week went. Yes, last week they should have scored 60 on them. They took the starters out in the third quarter at 42-6, and the backups couldn't do anything, which is what the problem is when you lay 40 points. We're not going to play our players in the fourth quarter. We won't keep scoring. It's just the nature of the beast. But here, Western is just laying 12. Is Western any good? Let's see. I mean, UMass is terrible. Western beat Rhode Island 47-14, beat Toledo 14-13. They lost to Illinois. They lost to Illinois 38-0, North Texas 33-30, and Michigan State 23-6. So the Big Ten teams, you figure they're going to lose. But the North Texas 33-30, Toledo, they won, and then Rhode Island, they put up 47 points, even though it was Rhode Island. UMass lose 42-6, 47-7. Lost to Bobby Bryant, 27-26. Temple, 42-10. So it's funny. They keep losing 42-10, and Bryant's a Division II. So they're not scoring, and they're giving up 40 a game. Can Western score? Well, we see Western putting up 47 last week against, albeit Rhode Island, and 14. But they did put up 30 on North Texas. So this is a game Western really needs. I probably a good play to take them. I don't think about the total. I don't know what you're going to do with UMass doesn't score. So we got Arizona, Oak State, Arizona 2055. Oak State's the Z team in that league. Arizona, they didn't show up against Iowa State last week. Connecticut 7.5, 54 to Florida International. Connecticut's pretty good team, but they're not winning a lot. Oregon State against App State. Oregon State's a Z team, laying 1.5, 54, but it's who is this? App State. So App State's not too good this year. Boise and Notre Dame. Notre Dame 21-63. Now this should be an over. Notre Dame scoring 50 points a game and giving up close to 50 points a game. And Boise's explosive as always. So let's see. Boise beats App State 47-14, beats the Air Force 49-37, loses to South Florida 34-7. So they played one team and they got killed, but then they came back. Eastern Washington doesn't count. At the Air Force, they put up 49, give up 37, and App State, they score 47. So I would think Boise can light up Notre Dame. Notre Dame will definitely light up Boise. You need 63. So, yeah, it's hard to lay 21 with Notre Dame because Boise can score on you and backdoor you easily. Notre Dame should win the game, but we should get a lot of points because that's what Notre Dame's doing lately. They just keep scoring. They have to. They were 0-2. So, after their first two losses, then it's Purdue 56-30 and then a 56-13 to Arkansas. So they're scoring 50 points a game, except for their loss to Old Miami. So keep that in mind. Virginia, Louisville. Virginia just beat Florida State. How are they going to be? Are they going to be flat? Are they even going to know there's a game this week? Louisville is a good team. I think Virginia comes and plays. I love their quarterback. It's a big number. Louisville 7.5. You get 13.5 in Virginia, who just beat Florida State, by the way, as I just said. That's a tough one there. I think Virginia's a very live dog. I think the fact they beat Florida State just makes them feel that much better. Syracuse, SMU. Syracuse has an injury to the quarterback. SMU's 16-58. So you can't bet the over unless the quarterback, I thought he was out for the year, but let's see. SMU, maybe you lay the 10, with Syracuse. Alabama and Vandy. Alabama 10.5, 56. I don't understand this line. I love Vandy at 14, 16.5. People think like it's a revenge game from Alabama and they're going to blow out Vandy. You're not blowing out Vandy. Vandy's got the better team here. They got the better quarterback. They got a good defense. Alabama's okay, but they're not going to blow out Vandy. This might be an over at 56-50, but Vandy can easily win this game. We have a very live dog with Vandy. It's all the quarterback. We got Daggio, and Daggio does what Daggio. He's been throwing 5-6 touchdowns a game. What's Alabama going to do? Texas 7-42 to Florida. This has under written all over it. Texas can't score. Arch Manning stinks. Florida, Langway, he's even worse. 2 and up bad quarterbacks. James Madison, Georgia State. Georgia State's a Z team. James Madison, 1953. It's at Georgia State. We'll have to think about it. Central Michigan, 8.5, 45.5 to Akron. Central's been playing a little bit better. Akron, I got to check if they're the Z team or not. Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois. Again, the MAC's full of Z teams and a few good ones. Miami of Ohio, 538. They must be pretty good because it's at Northern Illinois. If they were the Z team, they'd be a dog. Lou Monroe against Northwestern. Northwestern, 10.5, 39. Lou Monroe's terrible. Washington and Maryland. Washington off the loss, but they have to travel cross country to Maryland. Washington with the good quarterback didn't show up last week. I was surprised they got so outplayed by Ohio State that they really had, like, they never had anything figured out. It was terrible. Washington could have won the game easily, and they just didn't. They'd get to the red zone, and they were like had no plays called. So off of a loss, I like Washington. However, having to travel to Maryland is definitely hurting. They're the better team by far, but again, it's the air flights. Penn State against UCLA. Again, Penn State off of a loss, going this time to the West Coast. 25 to UCLA. UCLA is terrible. Penn State, the total is 50. Maybe we go over. I don't know. UCLA is just atrocious this year. Texas State, Arkansas State. Texas State, 1364. They are explosive. Arkansas State, I'm not sure. Oklahoma gets Kent State. What the fuck is that? What kind of game is this? Why are they playing Kent State? Oklahoma, the quarterback, has a broken hand. I'm sure he's not playing. They're laying 45. I don't understand how they can lay 45 with a backup quarterback. Doesn't make sense. Big Nebraska, 10.5, 50 over Michigan State. Michigan State played USC fairly well at USC. Has to go to Nebraska. Nebraska's okay. I don't love their offense. Their defense is strong. Michigan State, we have to figure out what they are. But they did play USC fairly well. Old D against Coastal Carolina. Old D minus 18 and 54. Old D is a pretty good team here. Coastal Carolina's not. Vegas, 3.5, 53 to Wyoming. Vegas is the better team here. Wyoming doesn't have much offense. They always have a decent defense. Texas Tech, 11.5, 50 against Houston. This is a hard game. Houston, with the shutdown defense, will play much better than they did last week. They weren't interested last week. Why the fuck not? You're playing Oregon State and you're not interested. Now you're a home dog to Texas Tech, as explosive as they are, and apparently they have a good defense as they stopped Utah. Very strong team, Texas Tech. Houston, very strong defense and a good coach. Do we have enough points to take Houston? We don't want to go over with Houston's defense. Maybe we go under because Texas Tech looks like they have a good defense, and we know Houston's is. Kansas, UCF. What happened to Kansas last week? What the fuck do I do with this one? UCF's not that good. Kansas should win, but they should have won last week. And this is where you get caught. You had Kansas and you lost. It's like, well, how can I play Kansas again? Yet after the loss, you probably should play them. But it's like Green Bay. We played them and they lost twice in a row, or they lost in a tie. Colorado, TCU explosive as hell. Colorado Prime is still looking for his son, wondering when he's going to coach the Cleveland Browns. TCU 1358. It probably goes over. TCU can really score, and they don't have the great defense. Colorado will find a couple of touchdowns. We'll see. A&M against Old Mississippi State. This should be a good game. This spread's way high. A&M 1455. Mississippi State beat Arizona State, played Tennessee very tightly. They're a pretty good team. So I don't know. A&M, they don't really have the defense. They got a good offense. I like their quarterback. Maybe this isn't over, although we thought that last week with Auburn. Ohio State, Minnesota. Ohio State 24-44 at home after beating Washington. Minnesota, freshman quarterback, strong defense. Ohio State, strong defense. 24, big number, total of 44. Maybe we go under with the game. Miami of Florida and Florida State. Now, Florida State, after the loss, because it was a Friday night, they had to travel to Virginia. Miami's 4.5, 54. I like Florida State. Cristobal, he's terrible coach. I don't know where Miami's this good. They've been playing at home against pretty weak teams. They did beat Notre Dame 27-24 at home, and Florida State's probably as good as Notre Dame. They have the good quarterback. Well, he's kind of a running quarterback, but he can throw. They've got a good defense. This should be a defensive game, and it should be tease the dog here. So you get 10.5 from Florida State. I don't know how you bet Miami here. Memphis, Tulsa. I got to see what Tulsa is. Memphis, always an offensive team. Nevada against somebody. Who's Nevada playing? I wrote it so bad I can't read it. Nevada's got Fresno State. Jesus Christ. How did I spell Fresno State? Looks like a K. Nevada, Fresno State. We got Fresno State 14-44. Nevada's not very good. Fresno State wasn't too good, got better. Kurt Warner Jr. doesn't look good, but they got good running backs. We'll see. And then Duke, 355 at Cal. Again, East Coast, West Coast. Cal's not bad. I think Cal's a live dog here. Just because they're at home and Duke has to travel. And it's a 10:30 game. So Duke will be playing till 1:30 in the morning. So edge to Cal. So teams off of a loss. Georgia, Penn State, Kansas, Washington, Florida State. So you want to bet on those teams because they're up pissed that they lost, especially in college. You can only afford one loss, two at the most. So they will play good. Now, are they good enough to win is another story, but they will play very good. Would not surprise me if Florida State beats Miami. It would not surprise me if Kansas beats UCF, even though it's at UCF, because I don't like Scott Frost, terrible coach. Penn State, now they're laying 25 to UCLA off the loss. UCLA stinks. They're the Z team. So instead of just flying to California and you're tired, they'll be much more motivated. Washington has to fly to Maryland. It's the same thing. Do we bet Washington? Can they handle the long, am I making too much emphasis on this coast to coast? It's out there, though. You can't ignore it, right? All you can do is say, well, yeah, it's tough. They got to travel 4 hours on the plane in different time zones, and it's going to take 2 days to get, if you fly from here to Vegas or from here to San Diego, you're fucked for the next day or two. You're trying to get used to the time and the jet lag. When I go to Europe, I get there at 7 in the morning. I have to go to sleep. I'm exhausted because you really don't sleep much on the plane because it's really not late. If you leave at 7, you get there about 2 in the morning. Well, I'm not really ready to go to bed at 2 in the morning. So you get there and then it's here start the day and you're like, well, so now you start getting tired, but you realize it's 8 in the morning. I don't want to go to bed at 8 in the morning. So you take a little nap, but nothing much. because you're excited you're on vacation. The last thing you want to do is take a 6-hour nap. You want to go out and then just kind of unwind in the afternoon. So again, it's trying to figure out Kansas UCF, trying to figure out what's going on with Kansas, what's going on with UCF. Maybe I take it over because Kansas seems to be scoring and their defense is gone. And again, I'm overrating them because the way they held Fresno State to nothing. I said, oh, they got a defense this year. Only it's not there. And then they murdered West Virginia. So you're kind of being misled into the team that you think, depending on you're going, oh, well, that's the team. Then I'm betting on Kansas. How can they lose at home to Cincinnati? I mean, they're only 4-point favorites. Look what they did to West Virginia. Look what they did to Fresno State. This defense is good, and they lose. And you're like, and it's not even that they lose. It was 37-30. It was a 71 game. Well, hell, if I know they don't have a defense, I'll play it over because I like playing Kansas over. And that's really where we have to figure out, is it the team or the total? But we've got to, I get really like, it's really strange when I'll take Kansas to win, and then Cincinnati's scoring 37 points on them, and you're going, well, fuck, if I knew they were that strong offensively, how did this bet the over? Because when I bet the team, I'm expecting the other team's not going to score much. Denver, Cincinnati yesterday, the other game, Houston, Tennessee, and it was exactly what it was. The one team scored and the other team didn't score. And that's what you're expecting. So that's the key, is if you're assuming the other team can't score, you're betting the side, or you're betting a live dog, where the team will score, but we can score too. And then when you get in trouble, you're not sure, is you go total, and you think, oh, it'll be high scoring. And that's the other thing. So you try to find your over teams. And usually you want shit defenses when you play there. So the team that scores 30, Texas State, you want them playing a team that gives up 30. Then they'll score. But if they go against Houston with a real strong defense, they're not going to score. And so that's what I am trying to figure out this week. All right, we talked the pros. So Vegas, we looked at. Let's go back to gold. Check our presses. All right, so gold is back up to 38.44, silver 46.50. So this is sitting around, again, silver down 36 cents and gold's up $17. It's just funny why silver can't go up $10 beyond me. It should. What's the difference? And 38.44 gold. So again, we've climbed to 36, we've climbed to 37, we've climbed to 38. So every $100 going from 37 to 38, if you have 100 ounces of gold, you just made 10 grand. But you don't realize it because here's my 100 ounces of gold. It's not like I now have 110 ounces of gold. I still have 100. It's just worth a lot more. And that's really the key to it, is it's now worth more. So yes, I keep a spreadsheet and I go, oh, here's my 100 ounces times 38.45. And now it's worth that. And when it goes up to 39, it's now worth that. And when it goes to 4,200, and people go, well, it can't just keep going. Yes, it will, because of what drives prices is demand. And as people, like I say, once they realize this is worthless, they'll only have one option, which is to go into gold and silver. And as gold gets more expensive and harder to find, they'll go into silver. Now, when the stock market crashes in October, then you're really going to see the what is it? Something comes home to roost. The crows come home to roost or something. Or the cows, I don't know what it is. Somebody's coming home to roost. When the market crashes, people will dump their money, and The only option's gold and silver. Once that happens, then you're going to see gold and silver really shoot up. They'll kill COMEX because COMEX is fake. I don't care what Cadillac said. He's looking at paper and I'm looking at physical. And that's what it is. And keep in mind, if you buy me, you can't look at me for a week and say, oh, I lost or I won. You've got to look at me for a period of time because it's a percentage. I'm going to win, I'm going to lose. But for the year, I win. So if you keep me for the year, you're always going to win because I always win after because I do what I just said. I figure it out. Anyway, so 38.44 and 46.51. So again, as I say, when it hits 3,900, you made another 10 grand from 3,800. And then when it hits 4,000, you made another 10 grand. So this is your job, just sitting there with your gold and silver and watching it go up. As I said, I had silver at $45 for 2 years now. And now it finally got over $45. So now I can change it to $46 on my little counter times all my silver, and I calculate my value there. But that's what's going on. Silver should be much higher, as we know. Again, when you figure out the dollar's crashing and you figure out the stock market's going to crash, if you're in stocks, you got to be out of your mind. First of all, it can't go anywhere up. It's already priced in. And secondly, it can only crash. I mean, so if I come in at 46,000, well, let's see what it is. See, this is impossible. 46,198. This is not a real price. I mean, this is a bullshit price. But as we see it, you're going to buy into the stocks. Where's it going to go? It's going to double to 92,000. You're out of your mind. Maybe it gets to 47, but it's more likely going to be 20,000 soon, not 47. I mean, it can't go up and double, but gold can. Gold's doing it. Gold was what, 1,500, then it's went up to 2,000, and then 25, and then 3, and now 35, and now 38, on its way to 45 to 5, going to 10. It just keeps moving because there's only one lifeguard, lifeboat. You're in gold or silver, or you're going to go broke. I was explaining to some lady yesterday, and she said, it's the best explanation I've ever heard on inflation. I says, well, the money's worthless. You either get out of the money and go into gold, or you hold your money and it goes to zero. It's your choice. Who's going to hold their money and want you to go to zero? There's no way your money gets more valuable. As they say, it's lost 99% of its value. I believe 100%. So where are you going? It's going to get more valuable. It's going to only go 98%. Well, that's impossible. It's lost 99. You've got idiots printing it, and they have to keep printing it because the government spends more money than they take in. So every month they have to print. They have to pay your Social Security. They have to pay for the debt. They have to pay the government employees. Where does that money come from? It comes from printing. Therefore, the money's being worthless and worthless and worthless. That's why I say it's worth zero. So the big frenzy is going to be the Titanic when everybody realizes the boat's sinking and they try to get on the lifeboat. That's what's going to happen here. The dollar's sinking and they're going to have to get into gold and silver. And it's going to be so expensive but the key to us is you just buy it to have it. I know it's going to go up. And if I could only afford a quarter ounce or a half ounce, that's what I buy. People argue, yeah, but you're paying a higher premium. I go, well, not necessarily. And the bottom line is I have gold. How can I go wrong adding more gold to the portfolio? So even if it's a quarter ounce, it's still fine. And what if I only want to exchange a quarter ounce? It's about 1,100 now. So if I need 1,100 to go on a trip, I do that. And that's what I see. So but it's going to be harder to find the gold and silver, especially as everybody starts to realize the dollar's gone. You're going to need more gold and more silver, and you're going to have money. So I'm some rich guy from Germany. I got my money in the stock market, 500,000. I see the dollar going out. So I sell my portfolio. I get euros, but I don't want euros. So I go buy gold and silver. Well, can I find it? And I don't care what the price is. I'm going to pay that price because I need gold and silver because my money's worthless. So they get out of the stock market and they get into gold and silver as the only lifeboats there is. There's no other lifeboat. I mean, I know I say the Rolex or the Mantle card, but really, they're not really the same lifeboat as gold and silver. And you're just sitting there and you're watching it go. I mean, that's all you're doing is you want it to go up, and it's going to go up based on demand, and demand can only go up because people can't sit in dollars because they're all worthless, because every country in the world is doing the same thing, the same government. They're all Keynesians. They print money until it's worthless. Every country's doing the same. It's like here, right out of the book. Oh, what's the USA doing? We'll do the same thing. What a bunch of idiots. The only one that gets it is BRICS. BRICS is sitting there going, this is cool. We'll have gold-backed currency. We'll win. And they will. And that's really the key to it. And then when you go to find gold, you won't find it because BRICS has so much of it. It's going to be very expensive to buy the gold and silver. And especially once we get out of COMEX with this incredibly stupid price fixing, and we get to a real price of physical, not this paper shit. That's why I'm so, like going, oh, it'll be $500 silver. Well, because this $47 silver is a joke. It's not real. It's diluted paper silver, not physical. That's what I'm trying to explain to Chevy. No, what was his name? Yeah, I think Chevy or Cadillac. That's what I'm trying to explain to Cadillac. It's paper. You're looking at paper. He says he sent me an email. He says he's a commodity trader, and I go, well, you're still clueless. I've been doing it for 40 years. Yeah, you're still clueless because I'm talking physical gold and silver, and you're talking paper. And he says, oh, it all goes to where it should be. I go, it's not close to reality. Where it should be is 10 times higher than it is because it's physical, and you're diluting it with all this paper crap, and you're price fixing it. So don't tell me it's the right price. So that's why I come up with these numbers, is because once the frenzy hits where people realize the boat's sinking, and that's why there's no profit taking. So if I got 100 ounces, I'm not selling 70 ounces to get back into this shit to take profit. No way. I'm just holding it on and watching the gold go up and up and up. And I don't want anything to do with this. Once in a while, I might need it to take a trip or something. Okay, fine. But otherwise, I don't want anything to do with the dollar. It has no value. It's worthless. I don't want to take my good gold and buy, because that's what you're doing. You're trading it in. I'm trading my gold for worthless paper. Why would I want to do that? You might trade your gold in for a house, and you might trade your gold in for a Mantle card, but you're not trading it in for $1. All right. What else? So here's what I like watching this guy. Europe no longer, I love when it does that. Europe no longer at peace with Russia. So what's Europe going to go to war with? Europe has no military. How can they fight Russia? What, are they out of their minds? See, that's bullshit. I don't buy the headline. Ukraine abandoned. Ukraine is dying, and NATO is lying. NATO keeps saying that the Ukraine's winning, or they're not having any casualties, and there's nobody left to fight. So this war is just about over. I was watching The Fall of Dubai, and Dubai's collapsing because it's just nobody's there. It's too expensive. The whole thing, it's collapsing. The Vegas Strip can't be saved. See, the problem is supposedly, and I'm not quite sure I'm following, is that they're making all this money in China. Well, there's one problem. China's broke. There's not the billionaires all left for Dubai. They had to leave the country. So I don't know who they think they're selling to. This whole thing sounds like horseshit. If you have no customers, how the fuck are you doing record earnings? Which I don't buy either. I find it hard to believe. So I think Vegas is on its way out. I don't buy that Macau is your answer either. And if you're raising prices at Macau, believe me, they're not going to put up with it either. People are people. They don't want to pay more. They don't want to pay $40 for parking in Macau, in the US, in Brazil, in Canada. Nobody, just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you just throw it away. Or the expensive food and drinks. They're not going to just, they'll drop $10,000 without thinking. Bullshit. I don't know anybody who has that kind of money, just throws it away for no reason. Oh yeah, $500 for a drink. Sure. I'm in Macau. Yeah. Bullshit. Those guys are the last to throw their money away. Hold on, I need water. Anyway. Oh, Titus, it's been 4 years now for that war. I noticed people park on the street in Vegas compared to paying for parking. Yeah, that's clever. How do they park on the street? Or you're saying on the side street, obviously not on the strip. I mean, I would just find a place like the Tuscany. It's about a quarter mile from Caesars. It's not on the strip, but I stay there. Or you go to there's a restaurant across the street. I would park there and just walk. I'm not paying 42. What I don't understand is how these guys think that it's profitable pissing off your customer. And again, the customers here, which is free parking and free liquor and inexpensive food, that's your customer. And you're charging them here. So I don't know how they think anybody's happy paying more when that's not, like I say, if you make the ribs $45 at my rib place, right now it's 30, that anybody was going to be happy. You'll end up with no customers because that's what happens. The customers get pissed off. I got to watch this one. Phone's camera spies on you. I want to watch that one. It's a setting thing. Titus, most everyone transits up and down the street. Yeah, well, it becomes an issue of cost. Nobody wants to pay. This is what I don't understand. They're saying, oh, we're doing record profits. How are you doing record? Nobody's eating there. Nobody's drinking there. Nobody's parking there. So all these little things you're talking about, the parking, the eating, the drinking, nobody's doing. So what the fuck are you saying? The resort fee? Well, that'll make me stay somewhere else. I know when I went up to the lake, Lake Michigan, I looked on bookings and I stayed at the cheapest one that had a pool and a hot tub. It was in the middle and it was like $50 cheaper. And that's how I chose it. You don't pay for parking. A nice pool, nice hot tub, nice, you're on the lake. Let me show you. So, I mean, I'm not paying for that. So this is where I stayed. So this is the lake, and there's a nice sunset. There's the golf course, the beer. It's a Nicholas course. This was the hotel. Yours truly. That's a view from the room. I was sitting on a chair, and then there it is. So, so I can't complain. I'm saving $50, and there's a view from the room. A view to a kill. There you go. So, I mean, that's what I did. And then you had, the nice golf courses. I was the man. I almost put it in the hole. And you had the parking lot there and that view. So, I mean, so I'm doing that instead of going to Vegas. So I will watch that one. Alligator warning: the U.S. dollar is repeating the warning. Well, it's being inflated. We know that. Laugh out loud, professor. Doing a Vegas video without being in Vegas. That's economics for you. That's exactly what economics is. Somebody was asking me, I was telling them about myself, and I'm saying how I went from football to Austrian economics. And I said, well, it's about problem solving and trend analysis. Football is all trend analysis. What do I think the outcome will be? That's what football is. And that's what's economics. If you keep printing the money, it'll be worthless. So the outcome will be the money's worthless and the problem solved is gold and silver. So she said to me, there's a thing I call like surviving inflation. And she's, well, how do you survive it? I said, I just told you, you buy gold and you buy silver and you substitute out. So if steaks are $20, you don't buy the steak, you buy the chicken or the hamburger. That's $4 or $5 a pound. And you eat that. I says, like Coca-Cola, you're not going to pay $3.50 for a 2-liter. And so you don't. I bought like sometimes Diet Squirt. It's $1.99. Why should I pay $3? It's all pop to me. So that's really what you're looking at is you're trying to get. You're problem solving everything. It's not. It's football. It's economics. It's baseball. It's whatever you're trying to predict. And that's where my skill got me is predicting. And when I lose, not only do I get upset, but I ask, why did I lose? Why did Kansas not cover against Cincinnati? And I really don't have an answer, just that Kansas's defense isn't as strong. And Sorsby, the Cincinnati quarterback, is a hell of a lot better than he shows. And he just went up and down the field, and Kansas didn't pressure him and didn't cover. So it's maybe Cincinnati's offense is better, and maybe Kansas's defense is worse than I thought because of the way they beat Fresno State and West Virginia. I thought, but then I see West Virginia's not very good. Utah killed them. So now it's like West Virginia's our bitch, and Kansas is not a very good defensive team. You think so. I mean, again, and that's the problem. You're still 5 games in, you still don't know what happened. They looked good defensively before. Why didn't they look good defensively now? Green Bay, perfect example. I'm trying to problem solve it and go, why did we lose? Well, Green Bay, you got Micah Parsons and you never blitzed. He had 1 sack. They only had 1 sack. You didn't blitz Dak Prescott. Who's the fucking defensive coordinator? What idiot put him in that position? That's a problem. Green Bay, the way they played the Lions, and then this, I'm like, what? Where was that team? So you just they lost to Cleveland on a fluke, on a blocked field goal, bad coaching, and what happens? The second touchdown, they blocked the extra point for a 1-pointer. Again, what is that? So now you realize Green Bay's coaches have their heads up their ass. Good offense, no defense, even though I thought they had a defense. So it's really tricky. You pretty much covering everything about Vegas. That's why I like to be front and center for Clas. Well, thanks, Titus. Well, it's the market of it, right? It's the economics of it. You raised your price over the market. So the market's willing to pay this and you want to charge this. Because if they're hidden fees or not, your parking and resort fee and liquor and food all makes the price go up. But the market is here. That's why you have nobody there. It's very simple. And it's the same anywhere. Disney, they're starting to charge $175 for tickets. And I wonder why they don't have anybody. Because you can't just, I don't know, these guys are idiots. How are they running businesses? These guys are clueless. They're not economists, and they're not Austrian economists. They think, well, we can just raise the prices and we'll lose some customers, but we'll make more money. No, all you're doing is pissing off the customers, and they're going to Universal, or they're going to the Grand Canyon, or they're going to the ocean. They're not going to Disney. They're not going to Vegas. You're too expensive. And people nowadays have less money, not more. The money's worth less. You need more for food and utilities and going out to eat. The costs have went up, but you're not making more. Nobody makes more. What kind of wage inflation? You go to work, you make $75,000. Well, okay. Do you think you're going to make $85,000 because there's inflation? No. You're making what the market will bear. What is the company willing to pay for my skill? And that's it. So I don't know what they're talking about with this wage inflation and all this. There's no such thing as wage inflation, by the way. There's only one inflation. It's inflating the supply of the money. And it's not called debasement. It's called inflation. And that's it. And you print too much and it loses value because you diluted it by printing it. Bottom line. That's it. And then it's worth nothing. And then you trade it, Rumpelstiltskin it, from going from something that's worth nothing to something that has a value, and that's gold and silver. That's why you do it. The cherry on top is that gold and silver are going to the moon. But you didn't do it for the gold and silver to go to the moon. You did it to get out of the dollar and watch your 500,000 go to zero, which is what nobody gets. Oh, I got my money in stocks or Bitcoin. Good luck. It's going to be worth zero. But nobody wants to hear that and admit they're wrong, or admit they did something wrong, or it's too much work, or I might have to pay tax on it. Well, I'd rather pay tax on $500,000 and buy $480,000 worth of gold than watch it go to zero, and I won't pay tax, but I don't have anything. I have no value. So this is the problem. And after football season, Vegas is going to be empty. I don't think it's too crowded now. Yeah, maybe they go to the Raiders games. But if you think they're going to go to the hockey, you're crazy. Or the baseball, who's going to go to the Oakland A's games? Reggie Jackson isn't there anymore. Bobby Bowe doesn't play for Oakland. I mean, this is exactly to the point. Football, it's once a week. And from what I gather, people are flying up Sunday morning and then leaving Sunday night. Maybe you have a few people who get there Saturday night. More likely they come Sunday and stay Sunday night because it's cheaper and go home Monday. But it's only a day or two. It's not like they're there for the weekend. They're there for a day or two. Same thing with these boxing matches. I mean, how many boxing matches you got? I don't even know who's boxing anymore. Since Muhammad Ali's retired, who are you going to go see? Yeah, Joe Blow's fighting Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Oh yeah, let me go run to that boxing match. I don't think so. Oh, thank you, Titus. But that's the problem. Vegas is too expensive, and how you defeat inflation is by substitution. You go and you go somewhere else. You don't buy the $20 steaks, and you certainly don't go to Vegas and pay for parking and the resort fee and $50 hamburgers and all that shit. You certainly didn't. And Nick was on. He took his dad, he said, and he was saying how expensive the food and the drink were at wherever. I guess he was at Caesars, and it's like, you got to be kidding. You can't do that. I would think Sunday's cheaper. I don't think anybody wants to stay there Saturday night. They make it so expensive. And I think why they charge for parking is because most of it was people traveling from LA and San Diego to Vegas for the weekend. And so they knew you were driving there, so they could charge for parking. But me, I fly in from Detroit. I don't have a car. I'm not paying for parking. I take a taxi to the airport and I walk from the Tuscany to Caesars to Bellagio to the Venetian, play some poker, watch the football. I don't know. I used to eat at the deli at the Mirage, which is no longer there, so I don't know where I would eat. Nobody wants these richy ditchy $50 Gordon Ramsay hamburgers. Hate to break it to you. There's nothing different about it. What is this miracle meat? It's thick. It's, a half pounder. Well, I can make half pounders at home. So what is he doing that he's charging $30 for a hamburger? And how can he say it with a straight face? That's just, he's cooking it because he's a Michelin chef. And I'm like, big fucking deal. Who cares? So that's really the problem, right? Everything, and you've cut the free drinks, you've cut the cheap buffet, you've cut the cheap food, you've cut the $2 and $5 blackjack and craps out. That's your big problem, right? So what's for me? Oh, there's nothing for me. I might as well go to the lake and sit on the beach and relax. Why do I need to spend all this money on food that I don't need to do? It's not worth it. So I think that's the biggest problem. But I mean, how many, as we're talking about the Raiders, well, there's only 8 home games. And so how many games, are going to be sellout? Now, did people come for the Bears? Maybe Green Bay and Pittsburgh and Dallas, they will travel for, but San Francisco or Atlanta, you're not getting a crowd for that. So again, I think that's overstated. It's such a small amount of we're going to make so much money on 50,000 people coming from out of state staying there because they're Raider fans. That's this much into their budget. But nobody wants it. Again, it's like a Tesla. Nobody wants the car. Nobody wants an electric car. It catches on fire. You're going to need to charge it every other day. Once the battery starts going, the battery only holds its charge as in a laptop or in a phone. In the beginning, it'll hold its charge, and then slowly you're charging it every day. And that's what do you want to do that with your car? You want to charge it every day if you can even find a charger and it's available. And then how much is that going to cost you? Because they're going to start charging for plugging in your electric car, and who needs it? There's no demand for it. I'm fine putting gas in my car. Why do I need an electric car? It's incredibly stupid. And that's the same thing here. Why do I need to pay all this money for alcohol and overpay for food? You're crazy. I'll just go to CVS and get a nice salad and honeydew and grab a dessert, grab this and grab that, and take it over to Caesars and watch the football game with my food from CVS. So you've got me to leave the casino, so I'm not gambling, and you've got me then bringing the food in. And so tell me how that's smart. That's the market. Nobody wants a $100 buffet. I mean, nobody wants a $20 buffet, more or less 100. So what is the point? You're chasing people away. What the fuck is that? Who's running these places? What idiots are running? Tell me what master's program you went to come up with this model that says, well, we'll charge a lot and we'll chase all our customers away. And that's a good thing. We'll make record earnings. You're not making record earnings. That's bullshit. How are you making record earnings? Oh, we're getting all this money on parking one time. But when the people get tired of paying it or don't want to, or the resort fees or the more on the liquor and that, they're not going to pay it. Well, we'll get the rich. We'll just go after the rich. Well, the rich aren't going to take that either. We're going to make a lot of money on gold and silver. I'm still not going to pay a lot for the drinks or the food in Vegas, if I even go to it at all. I don't want to give you my money I made on gold. That's the $50 for a drink. Go fuck yourself. That's ridiculous. It's always about meeting this. And if you're up here and you're catering to this is rich and poor. This is the market. There's billionaires in it. There's poor people in it. There's regular people in it. That's the market. There's not two markets. There's not this and then, there's the rich people market up here. No. This is the market for rich and poor. Well, we're going to price it up here and we'll go after the rich. Well, you can't. The rich are in here. There is no rich market up here. I don't know what these people are thinking. There's not two separate markets. There's one market. Now, you might be able to chase these people up a little, but that's it. And now with things being more expensive, you're not chasing the rich up. The rich aren't, are they going to Vegas to gamble? I don't know. Maybe, but they can do whatever they want at home. They've got the money. They can certainly throw their own parties and stuff. So I think Vegas is gone. I don't know how much more it can last. If it's relying on the rich, they're out of their minds. China's broke and bankrupt, as I've shown you. So I don't know. This bullshit about Macau, I think, is fantasy. And there's nothing in the Middle East. The lady said Middle East. There's no Middle East. It's just China and it's in Vegas and a little bit in Detroit. Well, I don't gamble in Detroit. I used to play poker, but I'd rather buy gold and silver than play poker now because there's no interest in risking my money on poker when it's a no risk to buy silver and gold. I just bought silver. I bought another 10 ounces a couple of weeks ago for $43 an ounce. It's already 46, 47. There's no risk in the portfolio. So why do I want to play poker and lose 300? That's 9 ounces of silver I could have bought at no risk. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So anyway, anything else, Titus? I'll look at your email. Now, the reason I went through so many college games is for me to digest it and try to figure out who to bet. I'm playing too many teams, so I'm going to cut back on that. Usually I play what's playable, but after last week, it was just terrible. So I'm going to play certain teams, and that's it. My top 6, maybe. I'll write them down and then try to weed out the Kansas Cincinnati game. Unbelievable. So we're going after who lost last week. And if we would have done that last week, we would have hit Utah. We would have hit Toledo. There was a few others. So the biggest loser who we can bet on this week's Florida State. They lost to Virginia because Virginia's got a good quarterback, much better than the Miami quarterback. And now they're at home against Miami. So were they looking ahead? I doubt it, but still you have off of the loss, and they still crushed Alabama. Any way you want to look at it, they're a very talented team, and at home, I do not see them losing to Miami. And you're getting points, so maybe we'll make that our free play. I'll let you know tomorrow. I want to check injuries, but I really don't get the injuries till Wednesday. But I got to finish putting in I don't think I'm going to put in the offensive yards anymore. I think if they're a Z team, we know they don't have any, or an A team, we know they have a lot. So I don't really, it's too busy. I mean, it's so many games that I'm like, okay, let's let's just pinpoint our top 5 or 10. So again, I'm just going to put in A or Z and look at the defense and look for the 30 defenses to pound against. Like the first, like New Mexico State, Sam Houston. New Mexico State, I'm not going to bet on, but they're getting 9 from Sam Houston. Ain't no way Sam Houston's going to kill them. Sam Houston couldn't beat high school teams. I'm here for your direction. Well, thank you, Titus. Yeah, it's funny. It came up in conversation. Have I made people a lot of money? And I brought you up, Titus. I says, yeah, I made my friend 18,000 last year. So it really helps if you're trying to say, look how good I am. I help my friend make all this money. Shows that I'm good, and that's what you want, because then people go, oh, well, he must be good if he made this guy money and he made that guy. And I have a lot of, if you go on my website and the homepage, it gives tutorials, testimonials about how good I am. And, one guy said, well, I bought you for the week and I didn't win. And I'm like, you got to buy me for the whole year. You can't look at me for 1 week, because football is there's different matchups. 1 week's much better than the next week. Like here, we can have Vandy in 16.5 against Alabama. Well, we can't have that. Normally they're laying 20, which makes it hard when they're laying 20. But when you get a chance to take a Vandy plus 16.5, then it becomes much better, right? So you're looking for that matchup. That's what you want. So I'll probably either free pick Vandy or Florida State. I got to see first. Plus, trying to check the injuries, they're all screwed up. I didn't bet TCU because it showed 10 guys injured, and I'm believing those are the 10 guys sitting out because they still played Arizona State tough. And instead of betting it, I saw all the injuries. I didn't bet it, and they would have won, and I'm like really pissed. So I think this whole covers is bullshit with the injuries on it. And then Kansas didn't show injuries till Saturday when 3 of the defensive linemen were out. And I'm giving up 30 points to Cincinnati, which I was thinking might hurt me. So again, it's Vegas, it's McDonald's, it's any country, any company. If the market is here and you start charging here, when McDonald's does it too, it's $15 for a kid's meal. Hey, I'm going to pay 6 or 7. You want to charge 15, you're not going to have visitors. Disney's the same. Vegas is the same. Anybody's the same. Even the airfares, you got to carry on certain luggage. You got to be careful with the batteries. There's this smart luggage that has a battery in it. They won't let you take it on because it's the lithium battery. So you got to get one that you can take out the lithium battery. It's a nightmare to travel. So you got to keep in mind on that. And anyway, the best part of gold and silver are there's nothing else you can go into, right? The dollars are going down. British pound, euro, Swiss franc, all the African ones, and they're going gold, and our US dollar and the euro. And there is only gold and silver to go into. You can't go into like the British pound or the euro. You can't. There is no out. The only out's gold. So we have the perfect play is everybody has to go into gold and silver, driving the demand up, driving the price up. And it's very limited. Like I said, my guy didn't have gold in his store at all. And I've never seen him empty. Normally people will come to the store and sell him his gold and he puts it on display. Nobody's selling because they're starting to realize, wait a minute, this 3,500, which I think is really high, is not high, and it keeps going up. So people are holding their gold. And that's going to be the biggest problem if you have money and you want to get out. So now you got 500,000, you want to sell your stocks, get into gold. Good luck finding it. It's going to be very difficult to find, and you got to trust the person. The problem is, I go to my guy's store. I've been going for 5 years. I know I'm getting real gold, but you got to be careful. I see some shit on eBay. Let me show you that. So here's a 1 ounce silver coin on eBay. And what the fuck is this? $25. This is bullshit. It's got to be at least 50. So what's going on here? This has got to be fake. So please don't fall for this. You should be paying 50 some. Even here, 1 ounce, $19. Are you kidding me? Or this $33. Are you kidding me? Now here's 19. Located in China. Yeah, so this is fake. Or the Chinese guy really needs money. But why would you sell it for under 50? Here's again, 35, 27. None of these are real. Don't fall for this. They are fake. They are fake silver. See, look at this guy. No feedback. I emailed him a question and I said, "Why are you selling fake silver?" And he didn't respond to me. Like, there's no way this is a real 1 ounce at $27. So we finally get down here, and this is what it should be, about $56. But it's from a coin store, Aiden Coins, $56. This I believe. $38 I don't believe. See here, $50. That's real. $29. That's bullshit. So be careful of the price. Well, here, Hong Kong. Anything from Hong Kong, China is fake. Or these guys really need it. Here, $19. What the fuck is this? Oh, it's in China. How the fuck can this be real silver? Why aren't you selling it? You'd be selling it at 49. If it was real, why would you sell it for 19? Right? So be careful when you see these prices and they're too low to believe because they're not real. And you're not going to trust the Chinese. I guarantee you it's bullshit. So one guy emailed saying, "Why are you selling fakes?" And again, waiting. So here, $50. Okay, that's what a 1 ounce silver should go for. $50, 50. So when it's 20 or 25, it's fake. Don't buy it. Especially if it's China or Hong Kong. These guys from US, the seller has zero feedback. Get the fuck out of it. Let's see. Titus, you touched basis on some of your games from last year. Seems like they going the way again. If they do, I'm going to get them. If that same 8-team win again, wow. Was that strange? Those games lined up like that, Professor? Why are you selling fake silver? I'm not selling it. I'm showing you they're fake, is what I just did, because the price doesn't add up. They should be 1 ounce, should be about $50. They're 20. All I'm doing is showing you these are fake, and don't buy it. I'm trying to keep you away from getting in trouble. The 8-team teaser, I don't know. I don't really pay attention. It's the same or different from last year. I don't really know. I don't really care. It's how are they this year? And everything changes. Like, now you got Cam Ward on Tennessee. So you're kind of looking at everything new. There's new trends. There's new coaches. So everything kind of changed. Not everything, but the teams that are stable, Kansas City, Buffalo, Philadelphia, are the ones that win. And the teams that keep changing coordinators and all this you don't know. Maybe they're good, maybe they're bad. All of a sudden, Indy, maybe they're good, we don't know. I ain't betting them at this point. I don't know enough. Or Jacksonville, I know Trevor Lawrence sucks. Not like he got better. I repeated what you said about the guy with the fake silver. Yeah. Well, that's basically the point, and that's what I want to teach you on eBay. If something's supposed to be $50 and somebody offers it to you for 25, don't walk, run away. Now, unless you're at the store, if you're at the store, he's going to be $50. So if he's 25 at the store, you're going to say, why are you 25? Let's test this out. Bring in your magnet, see if it sticks, or have him go to the thing going, why are you 25? It's real silver. It should be going for 50. Believe me, my guy, when I go to the store, he's going to be $2 over. So he'll be $48 for his silver right now. And that's the key. That's what it is. So I'm just saying, if it seems too good to be true, it is, especially in silver and gold. Nobody in the right mind is selling an ounce of silver under 50. And nobody in the right mind is selling an ounce of gold for under 3,900, 4,000. It's just the way it is. But yeah, we'll see with these 8-team teasers. Excuse me. We'll see about that. But it's hard. You've got to. I almost do it the other way. I look at my picks, like Vandy. I like Vandy getting all those points from Alabama, so I'd put them in the teaser. And then it's just simply how many of those type of games do I have with a live dog or a strong favorite or teams off a loss? It might be 5, it might be 10. And that's how I go. When I hit my 11-team teaser way back when Florida State beat Auburn, I had 7 or 8 pro teams, and I had 3 college locks from the college bowls, Michigan State, and there was UCLA, and then there was Florida State -1. The line went up to 11, and I'm in at -1. And so that's what I did was but I had those games. I mean, that's a play, that's a play. So it's just as many plays as you have, and then you look at how many you got. I might have 5, I might have 10. I found 11, and they all won. It was just an incredible week. Everything won. And a lot was the last week of pros. So you were getting the 1 and 2 seeds, and they won. And then it was the 3 bowl games. I only found 3 locks in the bowl games, but this is before players sat out. So it's like locks. I don't plan on a lock. If the game goes and I see it and it's the wrong team's underdog, and or like Houston against Tennessee, they had to win. That was a lock. That was like, they're not going to lose. If they lose, they lose. If Houston loses to Tennessee last week, there's nothing you could do, but I'm going to lock it. The same with Detroit. I should have locked Denver. I locked San Diego instead, which is just incredibly, like, you can't believe it. But it just comes. It's not a plan. I'm going to have 3 locks. I'm going to have 5 locks. No, I don't have any locks. Is there something worth locking that I have good confidence in? So that's what I do. So anyway, Vegas is gone. They haven't figured out to lower their prices. Although I guess Caesars in October is going to lower the resort fee and the food and stuff like that, which I'm still not going to go to Caesars in October because they lowered things $20. And again, the flight, if I take Spirit, if you want to bring luggage for your clothes, it's $55 each way. Kind of fucked up thing is that? You want to charge me $400, then you want to charge me $50 to bring my clothes? Go fuck yourself. I can take the car up to the lake. That's why I went twice. I might go again. I mean, that's ridiculous. So that's what you have. So we'll see. But anyway, I think that's about it. This war in Ukraine is just about ending because Ukraine ran out of soldiers. They all got killed. It's funny how NATO tries to tell you that Ukraine's winning, and it's like they're all on drugs because they're not winning. There's no way Russia can lose. They've got the nuclear, they've got the manpower, and the Ukraine basically doesn't have anything. Zelensky stole all this money. He's got a house in Florida and he's got a house in Italy. Zelensky stole like $1 billion. This is their leader, and he's letting all his people die. Just ridiculous. So he's the cause. He won't end it. Well, if I end it, I'll lose power. So I'm going to stay in power, even if I get everybody killed in the Ukraine, because I got this money because they kept giving me bribes and everything. What a nightmare that is. Share your gems. Hello. Long time. Yes. What's going on? Anyway, so I think that's about it. I'm kind of tired anyway, but yeah, I don't know what this is. It just feels like a little nasal here and here. I've been hacking a little bit. I wanted to fast, but I'm too hungry, and maybe I'll fast tomorrow. When I get sick, I fast. When I fast, I get better. So that'll probably be tomorrow's show. Anyway, I got to update the pro stats and try to find some pro games. And college, I got to be very careful with college. I'm very pissed off my performance in college last week. And again, a lot of it is the matchup. I had no business locking Kansas because I didn't know who Cincinnati was. I just looked at Kansas and here's Cincinnati got us. Well, that game should have been bet over. Why am I betting Kansas? Because I don't know Cincinnati. I don't want to do that. So I got to make sure I know who's who here. So anyway, let's look at our goal one more time. We always like looking at it. So it's still 38.44. This is paper gold, and 46.44, and that's paper silver. Again, physical is about 10 times higher. Why did this happen at 2:30 to 6 o'clock? Why did it go down 65 points? Nobody sold. This is all done by options. This is all bullshit Madoff stuff. So the only reason it went down is people shorted it. However, then there was the buyer that come back in, and now whoever did the shorts is going to have to cover the gold, which they won't have, and they will be bankrupt. Hopefully it's JP Morgan. I don't know why you would do shorts when you have to cover. You've got to be out of your mind. You've got to be so stupid that you don't know what's going on, that you would short this at 38.65, and then when it hits 3800, it goes up to 38.44. What do you do? You're getting out of it in 2 hours, like you bought it at 38.65 and you sold it at 3800. But then the buyer is going to ask for the physical on demand, and you're going to have to give it to him, which you don't have because there isn't any gold left. Just pure idiots. I've never seen so many stupid people play this. So anyway, I think that's about it. Titus, well, you're welcome, Titus. It's nice to see you. And I'll probably respond maybe later or maybe tomorrow. Again, I think I need a nap. I'm just tired. So I'll get to you. Well, today's Tuesday. Are you going to Vegas this weekend, or you need the picks? But yeah, I figure tomorrow. I want to make sure if they're good or not, right? I got to analyze. Anyway, that's it. So that's about it. So have a nice day. Again, we'll see $4,000 gold soon and $48 silver on its way to 50. There'll be a little resistance at 50. When it breaks 50, then everybody's going to realize they've been made off, going, oh shit, 50 was a joke. It was paper physical or paper silver, not real silver, as silver runs to 500. What about the 49ers Rams? I first blush, I like the Rams. The Niners, I'm not. They look like shit. The Rams at home. Stafford's playing well. Devontae Adams played. Pukanuka. They got a good defense. The Niners just are all injured. Purdy, McCaffrey's okay. He'll keep the game close. Their defense, Jacksonville is running through their defense. So I just think the Rams should win the game. I put it this way. Do you want to take the Niners and 9.5 in a teaser? No. So look at it like that. I'm all over the Rams. Now, I don't know about totals. I'd have to look at that. But at this point, no, I'd be on the Rams. All right, I'm out of here. Have a nice day. Go buy your gold and silver because there isn't much left, and it's getting more and more expensive. So it's only going to go up, and it's only going to be more and more limited. Get out of your stocks, get your money out of the bank, and just protect yourself because it's all worthless pieces of shit. This has got no value, right? So don't be fooled because it says 100 on it that it's okay. It says 100 on it, but what's the 100 worth? Oh yeah, nothing. And that's really what you got to look at. What does 100 buy? Nothing. Go to the grocery store. What can you buy with 100? Oh, maybe 10 items. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Have a good day, and we'll just keep watching gold and silver fly. All right. Take care, everybody.